Hey folks, it's Jim with RV with the Tanners, and today I'm going to be talking about a new product I'm installing on top of the trailer. It's a Wi-Fi range extender. So you know when you pull into a certain campground, or maybe you're parking at a Walmart and you're trying to reach across the street and grab a signal from a Starbucks or some other location, and you just can't reach far enough and it doesn't give you a powerful enough signal. Sometimes RV parks start to get overpopulated. You're far away from the office and you just can't get a good signal. So what this device will do, it has a 2-mile radius. It will reach further out there and find that signal for you, pull it back to the device itself. Then it sends a signal down to its own internal router, and then that router then provides the Wi-Fi inside your RV. So inside your RV, you will configure this router. I'm going to use it with just the same SSID that I have here in my house. This is my office. So that all my phones, my tablet, PC, anything that we bring along already knows the SSID, already knows the password, and I don't have to enter it in again. So realistically, I arrive at a campground, I get their Wi-Fi code, I enter that one time into the configuration of the router, and then every device just connects and is happy as can be. So what is it? Here's the device itself. It's from WiFi Ranger. You can go to WiFiRanger.com and check it out. This is their EliteAC model. And if you guys have watched any of our videos, you kind of know that we like to camp in remote locations. A lot of times that means that there might be some low-hanging trees. This one has the ability for its antenna to actually flex back and forth. So if there was a low-hanging branch, it would hit that branch and then it could pop back up, hit it and pop back up, and it just won't snap off. Some of the other ones that I looked at had a rigid one, so if I hit a tree branch or something, it might break it. So I went with this version. Again, there's more versions online. The device itself has 6 holes here, or 8 holes, and I'm gonna put screws in each one of these, and then on top of the roof, and then I'll come back and cover each one of the holes with some Dicor so that it's watertight. It comes with 30 foot of Cat 6 cable. This will then be routed back into our trailer to the router right here. This is the router that they send. And then that cable then plugs in here. This is what's known as PoE, Power over Ethernet. It supplies power to the Wi-Fi Ranger on top of our RV. That leaves these open slots for if you wanted to hardwire something, if you had a camera or something else that you wanted to run inside your RV. Or if you wanted to run your laptop with an Ethernet cable, you could do so, but it does provide Wi-Fi, so you don't have to do that if you want. Over on the side here is the power. It comes with a AC power adapter, so you would put this and plug it in to power up the router. However, if you're in a location like a Walmart parking lot or something, they've gone one step further and made this an interesting concept. So if you're in the Walmart and you don't want to fire up your generator or you don't have an inverter, this is a 12-volt version to power that router. So you would wire this, tap this into your 12-volt system. It then converts that to power for the router. So you don't have to have AC power in order for this to work. So again, if you're in a location that's not going to work for you, they do a very nice job of including accessories that make it work for all types of campers if you're in an RV resort or you're dry camping. Next, what we're going to do is I'm going to jump out to the trailer, do some installation, come back and forth and do videos here and there and show you what I'm doing. And hopefully this works out and you guys can see how well this works for us. All right, so I have my RV parked in my driveway at home. What I'm going to show now is how many Wi-Fi connections my phone can see while I'm connected without the Wi-Fi Ranger. Again, this is just the phone being able to see any of the Wi-Fi connections. So I'll refresh this a couple of times and you can see, what do we got, 2, 4, 6, 8, 7, 8 of them here. What we see now is I've got the PC running. I am not using the Wi-Fi Ranger. At this point, it is just the built-in Wi-Fi on the PC. It has found at this point 29 different SSIDs in my neighborhood, which is a lot better than what the phone was finding at only 7 or 8. So that makes an interesting question on phone reception. But maybe the phone filters out. So as we scroll down, you can see this is one in my house. It has 3 bars of service out here in my driveway. That's not unexpected because I'm a little further away from it. And then we start to roll down and we'll see others here with less and less coverage. I got 1 bar here, 1 bar here. And just scroll down, you'll see that there's just all of them realistically have 1 bar service. The next thing I'm going to do is fire up the Wi-Fi Ranger, and then we'll see what kind of SSIDs it can find, as well as the signal strength. Alright, so now we're back and we've got the Wi-Fi Ranger webpage up and running. You'll see here in the upper left corner, I'm kind of drawing a little arrow around it. I've now found 43 different networks from using the Wi-Fi Ranger. A little bit up here in the corner, a little arrow for you, is the EliteAC. This is the antenna that's on my roof. The Go 2 gigahertz is the actual router that comes with this device. You can switch over to that and just use the Wi-Fi connection on the router, but there's no reason to. I would just leave it on the EliteAC. That gives it the most connections on the roof. Jumping down here a little bit, you'll see now I'm connected to Momo 2 gigahertz. I've got 5 bars of service on that, so that's very powerful. Zool has 5 bars, 5 bars. And remember earlier, all the different Wi-Fi connections that we saw, I could see them, but they only had 1 bar of service. Now as I start to scroll down here, most of those same ones that we saw earlier now have more and more coverage. So I have 4 bars on this one, 4 bars on this one. So a really big enhancement on the coverage that is being brought into my RV from that antenna that's on the roof. An interesting way to point this out to you is if I go over here to the side and I bring up just the connection that Windows sees. Now Windows is trying to use the built-in Wi-Fi connection in the PC itself. So you'll see here Zool has just 1 bar of connection. But if I look at it over here, Zool has 5 bars of connection. So a big difference if you're moving from what's built into your PC, your home network, whatever you're using on the road in your RV, than using the Wi-Fi enhancements that comes with the Wi-Fi Ranger. The next thing we're going to do is enable this. So what the option that they allow you to do is use the Wi-Fi connection at your campground, your RV resort, and you can also combine your phone if you want to make that into a hotspot, or if you have an actual hotspot itself, you can connect via a USB cable and then kind of load balance between the two. So if maybe the Wi-Fi connection starts to get a little slower, it can use more data from your phone. But if the Wi-Fi connection gets stronger, maybe during the day when people are gone, then it won't use as much data off of your phone. So it is, again, a load balancing technique that the folks at Wi-Fi Ranger have optimized. Now we're back and we have this cellular configured. One thing you want to remember, don't plug your cellular modem into your PC. It plugs into the actual router that comes with the Wi-Fi Ranger. I made that mistake and struggled with it for a little bit. So learn from my mistakes. Again, either your phone or your hotspot plugs into the router, not your PC. All right, so what you see now over on the side is I have my actual device connected. It is now tethered with a USB cable. And now what's happening is you'll see here that I am on the internet, I'm online, so I'm using the Wi-Fi Ranger and cellular. So now it is doing load balancing. So if one of these were to disconnect, if my internet went down or my cellular, then I would just be using the one device. So really it's a nice way to back up your data and also provide faster setup. The one thing I wanted to show you here is over on the setup tab, you have to remember to move whichever one you're doing. So I am not using an Ethernet connection, a physical cable, because the way our slide outs come in and out, it doesn't work for me to put the cable from the router to where my PC is. So I'm just using the Wi-Fi, which is fast enough for our needs. So I have the Wi-Fi Ranger as my #1 device. I have my cellular as the #2 device. And then over here, you need to make sure you click multi-WAN so that it enables the load balancing between the two. And then finally, make sure you turn on failover and then load balance under your multi-WAN. If you want to set it as a hot standby, so only if it goes down does it work, I wanted to do load balancing so I could use the data on both. Again, but if you leave it at hot standby, it's either one or the other. You're going to have 100% the campground network or 100% cellular network. There's no reason for me, in my opinion, not to use load balancing unless you're doing something and you have not unlimited data on your hotspot, and if the campground were to happen to go down and your cellular then was using a lot of data, you might not want that. So whatever you realistically have for data coverage, kind of think that through and figure out which way is best for you. For us, we have an unlimited data plan from AT&T, so I'm going to go with load balancing and let it use both at the same time. I'm just going to show you what it looks like over here if I disconnect my cellular for some reason. Let's say I wanted to leave and take it with me. I can do that. So now you'll see that the Wi-Fi Ranger has updated itself to only using the Wi-Fi Ranger, WFR, Wi-Fi Ranger, just so you know. And now my cellular can be removed. So if it was your phone as a hotspot or an actual hotspot, now you can leave the RV with it and use it wherever you're going. And if you were doing something online, if you were downloading something maybe from Netflix or YouTube, something like that, that can still work off of your Wi-Fi that's connected to your hotspot. But if you want to leave and take your accessory with you, you can do that. Just go ahead and disconnect it. Let's reconnect it one more time for you. It'll go through and it'll think about it real quick. It's acquiring an IP address. You'll see that right here. And now it's connected and it's updated itself again. So now I'm online using, it's going to configure both. So I've got multi-LAN, and now it's done. So it's gone through and it's tested all of them. So now it reports back that my cellular is now tethered, my Wi-Fi Ranger is online, and I'm also online with the cellular. So back to both of them. You'll see there's a lot of other tabs up here that you can go through. There's a great user's manual. Wi-Fi Ranger does an excellent job of doing their own videos on how to configure each one of these buttons. I would recommend reading through them. There is a lot of information here, folks, that could get a little detailed, technical, but for the most of us, for the 90% of us that just want to take their phone and tether it maybe to the Wi-Fi hotspot, I've covered that for you. But if you're a technical person and you want to get a little bit deeper into it, there's absolutely additional configuration options you could go with. All right, hey, so we've completed all the installation and I've showed you some of the configuration options in the Wi-Fi Ranger. I hope that was helpful for you, being able to see both options with Wi-Fi and then combining that with maybe your hotspot. Corner here on how the installation went on top of the RV roof. I didn't want to go too detailed on that, simply because the video is already long enough and there's not a lot of information up there. You just basically install it and then run the cable down. A lot of people comment in the videos on some of this Wi-Fi Ranger that you can buy this and create your own. Well, you could probably do that, but Wi-Fi Ranger has gone way overboard on some of their firmware upgrades and making this very, very easy out of the box. You could probably build your own car. You could probably build your own house too for less than you could purchase it. It's just simply not worth it. The added value to this is out-of-the-box functionality, easy setup, and fantastic customer support. If you have any questions, you can write them in the comments section below. And if you found this video helpful, please take a minute and hit the like button and the subscribe if you want to find information on future videos that we do. Thanks for watching and have a great day. So if you haven't done so yet, please remember to hit the subscribe button and then hit the little bell so that it reminds you when we post new videos.